Frankfurt Book Fair. Interview of the Day.
Young Lian, on the Frankfurt Book Fair, what do you think of China as a guest of honor on this book fair?
Well, this is a very challenging topic. I think we all know all different layers, different sides of China today. On one side, it represents this kind of a hugely, even epical, modern transformations of the ancient cultural tradition. So that is very, very interesting to bring that into this stage. But on the other side, we also know the political control or censorship is still in China, sometimes they try even harder than before. So it's also a chance of debating about these issues. So anyway, I think to bring this topic into the spotlights of international is a good thing.
You're living in London for several years. What do you personally feel if you heard news about China and if you see reports about China in the news?
Well, to me, China is not only a country stayed thousands or 10,000 miles away. Actually, China means the language and the cultural inside of me. So I never actually thought I was totally outside of China. But China and Chinese language was inside of me. But to live in London to live abroad from China is very good because there's a necessary distance between me and that country. And therefore, actually, very good to keep a cold eyes and minds and to think things clearly, especially including the difficulties and the limits of Chinese literature today. So, firstly, I'm perfectly comfortable about this insider and outsider position. And secondly, I'm pushing. So all my writing done in England is also jointly of the pushing of the changes in China.
You've said something about the limits, what the Chinese authors have. Is there a change in the last years? Is there more freedom, more space?
Well, the things actually, I have to say, been changed hugely. The changes in China in the past 30 years, in my world, is bigger than the past few thousand years. But if you then you have to look at all layers in the country, the economies, the popular culture, the social space, the communications, together with the internet. Also, there's a huge possibilities of expressions. So, as again insider, I knew all those layers. But again, we know that the political limitations or censorship are there. And material temptations are hugely. So this is a great challenge to all those independent thinkers and individual writers. So what is your own reaction and the principles set up for your own writing is the real question. And so I can see all this, sometimes good reactions, sometimes unfortunately, bad reactions, and so this is the maybe most interesting thing I want to see.
What, in your point of view, must happen to change the situation of freedom of speech and human rights in China?
Of course, that's the most important point for any so-called modern society or modern culture. It's actually that means to give back the energy of individuality to the Chinese culture and therefore make it becoming a living culture again. So I think this is not only so-called European value or something. This is the universal value situated in every living culture. Just imagine how the Lao Tzu, Confucian themselves, were extremely individual and fighting for their own ideas. So actually, I feel that's just to put the Chinese culture back to the correct place. Yes, this is absolutely important for every man. Yeah.
Can literature be something like a bridge, maybe?
Yes. Well, I had a discussion with very good Southern African poet, Branchenbach. During the talk, we quoted this sentence: poetry is our unique mother tongue. And that means the literature or literary writing or thinking means endlessly question ourselves, endlessly challenging the limits of the language, therefore the feeling and thinking too. Through this way, actually this way exists everywhere, we build up the real understanding between the different cultures, different language, different persons. That is the bridge, spiritual bridge.
Last question for you. You grew up in Peking, I think. What do you remember on this time? What is still in your head about the time in Peking?
Well, Peking is a very, very special city because that's actually should be seen as a museum of classical Chinese architectures. It's not only one or single buildings. It's all arranged like a system. And of course, not only me but my family, especially my father's side, was generationally been living there. So I grew up in this communist time, but still remember the huge changes happened in the city. Therefore, I have to say the classical beauty, it was the very important reference for my writing. So I never actually gave up myself as the only simple political propaganda, slogan thing writers. But it's working with that kind of a qualified beauty on the classicals, on international levels. That is what I ask at my poetry all time.
Thanks very much, Lian.
Thank you.